Hello guys, so there are more materials which will help you to improve your level of English. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and press a like on this video. Clubbing, going for a run, playing the guitar, skateboarding, snowboarding, swimming, football, going to the gym, rollerblading, skiing, surfing the internet, yoga. Unusual ways of keeping fit. Korfball. A mixture between handball and basketball, korfball is a fast, exciting game. The main difference is that men and women play on the same team. It's also a great way to keep fit. The game began in the Netherlands about 100 years ago, and there are now korfball clubs in more than 40 countries around the world. There are 8 players on each team, 4 male and 4 female, and each player tries to throw the ball, similar to a soccer ball, into the goal, which is a bit like a basket but bigger. You can't touch your opponent, kick or run with the ball, and men can only attack against men, and women can only defend against women. A game lasts for 60 minutes, and the teams change ends after every 2 goals. It's a terrific sport and a great way to meet people, says Paul Dix of the British Korfball Associations. Tai Chi. Tai Chi is a Chinese martial art which goes back thousands of years. It is different from most forms of exercise in that it is very gentle. It consists of a series of slow movements which you must do very carefully and exactly. The big advantage is that you can do it anywhere, anytime, and you don't need to be a member of a club or use any expensive equipment. All you need is a qualified teacher. Tai Chi fans say it is an excellent way of getting rid of stress. Early in the morning, you can see people doing the gentle movements of Tai Chi in parks all over China, and it is now common in the West too. So what's the secret of Tai Chi? Mind and body working together, says one enthusiast. Gaming for fitness. Most people don't see playing video games as a way of keeping fit. You sit on the floor or on the sofa, you look at the screen, and the only part of your body that moves is your thumb. But that's all changing. Thanks to a brand new game from Japan called Dance Dance Revolution, gamers are now getting onto the exercise floor. In this case, the floor is a grid of 9 squares. You put one foot in the center and move your other foot in time to the dance music that gets faster and faster as you go through the levels. Most gamers just want to go to a fantasy world when they play a video game, but why not have games which are physical as well, says one DDR fan. So who knows, perhaps the gamers in the future will be fit and healthy people thanks to Dance Dance Revolution. Anya from Poland is a champion gymnast. Toshi from Japan is training to be a sumo wrestler. Yao from Brazil is a professional footballer. He plays for a top Italian club. Fact file. Full name, job, nicknames, born, height, hair color, family, education, hobbies, pets, favorite foods, favorite bands, favorite clothes, favorite films, hero, ambitions. How do you normally feel when you are at home watching TV? Just before an important exam? When you can't remember someone's name? If you have to speak in front of a lot of people? If you have to wait for a long time in a shop? If you lose your purse, wallet? If you go to a big rock concert? If you miss your train or bus? If you see a big spider? If your English lesson is cancelled? Carla is a student and she's very bad with money. She spends everything on clothes and going out and doesn't have any money to buy books, etc. Her parents are annoyed with her and don't give her any extra money, but Carla's grandmother gives her extra money every time she sees her. The tradition of birthday parties started a long time ago. People thought that there was a special danger from evil spirits, so friends and family came together to bring good thoughts and wishes and even presents. At one time, only kings had birthday parties, but as time went by, children and then adults began to have their own birthday celebrations. There are some traditions, such as sending birthday cards, blowing out the candles on a birthday cake, and singing the happy birthday song that you can find almost anywhere, anytime. Others are more specific to certain ages and certain countries. In China, everyone celebrates their birthday on New Year's Day. They become 1 year older on that day. On a child's second birthday, family members put a variety of objects on the floor around the child. According to Chinese tradition, the first object that the child picks up tells you what profession the child will choose later in life. In Argentina, Mexico, and several other Latin American countries, girls have a special birthday celebration when they reach the age of 15. After a religious ceremony, the girls dance a waltz with their father and other boys. 18 is the traditional coming of age, the age where you have the right to vote, join the armed forces, and in many countries drink alcohol, and in the UK buy a house or become a member of parliament. In many English-speaking countries, a 21st birthday cake often has a key on top, or the cake itself is sometimes in the shape of a key. The key means that the young person is now old enough to live and enter the family home at any time they want to. Read the email below quickly. What is the invitation for? Hi Sophie, how are you? It seems ages since I last saw you. The last time we met, I remember you were very busy helping your friend get ready for her wedding. I hope it all went well and the weather stayed fine for you. I've got a new job in the marketing department, so it's more money but more work, unfortunately. Actually, the reason I'm sending you this is to tell you about another wedding. My brother Andy and Anushka, I'm sure you met her one Christmas, have finally set a date for their wedding, 20th of August. We'll send you a proper invitation in a few weeks, but this is just to let you know in advance. Anyway, my parents want to celebrate the engagement, so they're having a special lunch on Sunday, 3rd of May. We're inviting relatives and close friends, so there will be about 20 people there. Would love to see you. It's at Martin's Restaurants. Do you know it? It's on the waterfront, so let's hope the weather is good. I know it's quite a long way for you to come, but Robbie is driving up from Manchester, so maybe you could arrange to come up together. If not, I can meet you at the station. Just let me know when your trains gets in. I'm going away for 2 weeks from tomorrow, but you can phone my parents to tell them you're coming. Their number is 0131 445892, or send me an email. I really hope you can come. Love from Marianne. For many people, German-born supermodel Claudia Schiffer is the perfect beauty. Tall and slim, blue-eyed, tanned and athletic-looking with long blonde hair. No wonder people have described her as the most beautiful woman in the world. But people have not always had the same ideas about beauty. Until the 1920s, suntans were for poor people. Ladies stayed out of the sun to keep their faces as pale as possible. 500 years ago, in the times of Queen Elizabeth I of England, fashionable ladies even painted their faces with lead to make them whiter, a very dangerous habit as lead is poisonous. And people in the 18th century would certainly not have thought much of Claudia Schiffer's hair. Ladies in those days never went out without their wigs, which were so enormous and so dirty that it was quite common to find mice living in them. As for the perfect beauties painted by Rubens in the 17th century, if they wanted to be supermodels, today they would have to spend months on a diet. Ideas of beauty can be very different according to where you live too. For the Pudong tribe in Southeast Asia, traditionally the most important sign of beauty was a long neck. So at the age of 5 or 6, girls received their first neck ring, and each year they added new rings. By the time they were old enough to marry, their necks were about 25 centimeters long. And what about the ideal man? If you ask women today to name an attractive man, most mention someone like Russell Crowe, Mel Gibson, and Denzel Washington. Someone tall and strong, brave and manly. In the 18th century, however, manliness was very different from what it is today. As well as wearing wigs, perfume, and lots of makeup, a true gentleman showed his feelings by crying frequently in public. According to one story, when the British Prime Minister, Lord Spencer Perceval, came to give King George IV some bad news, both men sat down and cried. And even now, Russell Crowe might not find it easy to attract women if he visited the Dinka tribe of Sudan. They have always believed in the saying that big is beautiful. Traditionally, each year, men compete to win the title of the fattest man. The winner is sure to find a wife quickly. For a Dinka woman, if a man is fat, it is also a sign that he is rich and powerful. Are you a live wire or a couch potato? I'm going to walk for more than half an hour today. I'd like to spend my next holiday lying on a beach doing nothing. I'd rather play sport than watch it. I'm not planning to get up before 10 tomorrow. I'm going to play an outdoor sport this weekend. I'd like to spend more time in bed than I normally do. In a strange city, I'd rather go sightseeing than stay in my hotel room. I'd rather take the lift than walk up a flight of stairs. I'm planning to go skiing and surfing sometime this year. I'm going to spend most of this evening in front of a TV screen. I'd like to go on a cycling holiday or climb a mountain one day. I'm planning to buy a more comfortable sofa when I have enough money. Spain. Self-catering villa with swimming pool, quiet mountain village, 40 minutes drive from beach. 5-star hotel, next to beach, busy nightlife, 24-hour room service. 3-star hotel, fantastic beaches and nightlife, 15-minute bus ride to beach. Dubai, self-catering, luxury apartments, fantastic shopping in modern city, near beaches. Thailand, 5-star hotel, Asia's #1 holiday resort, tropical climate, plenty of nightlife. During the last 10 years, Amit has had 10 different jobs. He has worked in the import-export business, he has been an estate agent, and now he has just started his own company which sells mobile phones. But he hasn't made £1 million yet. Edward has moved to the United States, where he now works designing computer games. His most popular game, Death Trap, has already sold over 10 million copies and has made him very rich. He isn't married, and in fact he's never had a girlfriend, and he still spends most of his time playing computer games in his bedroom. Lucy is an actress and a part-time waitress. In the last few years, she's appeared in several plays and a couple of TV commercials, but there's been no call from Hollywood yet. Since leaving university with a brilliant degree, Kate has worked for Greenpeace and other similar organizations, first as a volunteer and now as a manager. She's just had her first baby. In the last 10 years, Hannah has been married 3 times and has lived in Italy, Egypt, France, and Australia. At present, she's running a small restaurant and bar on the Greek island of Kos with her 3rd husband, Nikos. Ewan McGregor was born in Scotland in 1971 He left school to work in the theater before attending drama school in London. He is best known for his starring roles in films such as Trainspotting, Moulin Rouge, and Star Wars. He has also worked in the theater. He is married with two children. Where in the world can you find the Yellow River, the Black Sea, and Greenland? And why do they have those names? The Yellow River is the second longest river in China. It carries millions of tons of yellow sand from the deserts of central China, which give the river a yellowish color. The Black Sea lies between six countries, including Russia, Turkey, and Ukraine, but it certainly isn't black. The name probably comes from a black clouds which can cause storms in the area. And Greenland, the world's largest island apart from Australia, is more white than green. 85% is permanently covered in snow and ice. One idea is that the first people who arrived there saw it in spring. Can you find a lake where the weather is salty? The Dead Sea is not really a sea, but a lake. Water comes into it from the River Jordan, but because the Dead Sea is lower than the land around it, it cannot flow out. The hot desert sun evaporates the water as quickly as it flows in, leaving salt and other minerals. As a result, the Dead Sea is 7 times saltier than the sea, and people can easily float on it. Canada has the world's longest coastline, just over 240,000 kilometers. This is nearly 5 times longer than the next country, Indonesia. As a single line, the coastline would go around the Earth 6 times. Two of the hottest and coldest temperatures ever recorded were in the same country, Argentina. A temperature of 49 degrees Celsius was recorded in the town of Rivadavia on 11th of September 1905 and minus 33 degrees Celsius in Sarmiento, only 150 kilometers away, in June 1907. That's a difference of 82 degrees Celsius. In South America, the Andes stretch more than 7,000 kilometers from Lake Maracaibo in the north to Tierra del Fuego in the south, the whole length of the continent, and a distance greater than New York to London. In the Andes, you can also find the world's highest volcano and the world's highest lake. In the city of Venice, in the northeast of Italy, no cars are allowed in this historic city. The only way to get around is on foot, by boat, or water taxi. It's famous for its historic palaces, churches, and art galleries. In most of the Atacama Desert in northern Chile, it rains regularly between 2 and 4 times a century. In parts of the desert, it has never rained as far as we know. The 900 house. The Bowler family was one of more than 400 families who applied to 1900 house, a reality TV show which took a typical family back 100 years to see how people lived in the days before the internet, computer games, and even electricity. The Bowler family spent 3 months in a London home without a telephone, fridge, computers, radio, TV, fast food, or central heating. TV cameras recorded their day. The Bowlers wore clothes from 1900, ate only food which was available in England at that time, and cooked their meals on a single stove, which also gave them their hot water. Paul Bowler still went to work every day, dressed in a 19th century uniform, and the children went to school as normal. They changed their clothes on the way to and from school, and their classmates didn't know about their unusual home life. Joyce stayed at home, cooking and cleaning like a typical housewife of the time. I'm jealous because if it's 1900 or 2005, my husband gets the better deal, she said. Everything takes 3 times as long, like the cooking and everything. The stove took 28 minutes to boil water, and cleaning the house and clothes without a vacuum cleaner or washing machine was a nightmare. So, does Joyce think that people's lives were better in the old days? I think they had just as many troubles and worries, and I don't think their life was better or worse. There were lots of things back then that I'm happy I don't have to deal with nowadays, but on the other hand, life was simpler. 11-year-old Hillary said, "We had a lot of time with our family, and it was hard being nice to each other all the time. Having contact with your family all the time is really, really weird." What did the Bowler family miss most about modern life while living in the 1900 house? A hot shower, a quick cup of tea from a kettle you could just turn on, telephone, shampoo, and hot water, computer games, music, and normal sounds like the washing machine, pizza, and the computer. Looking for somewhere to relax and meet friends after a long, stressful day? Why not try the Paradiso Coffee Bar? This lively meeting place is always crowded with young, fashionable people who meet for a drink or just a friendly chat with friends or business colleagues. The surroundings are clean and modern. Enjoy the attractive colors, tropical plants, and beautiful works of original art. There is a wide selection of drinks, tea, coffee, alcoholic, and non alcoholic cocktails, and delicious food is available at all times. So, next time you're in town, come to the Paradiso Coffee Bar. Our polite and attentive staff are waiting to serve you. Call health helpline on Before ringing health helpline, think about these questions. It will save time if you are ready to answer them about yourself or the person you are phoning about. What are your symptoms? Have you got a temperature? Are you taking any medicine at the moment? Do you have any allergies that you know about? Have you ever had any serious illnesses? When did you last have something to eat or drink? Hazardous history. 3 centuries ago, people had much shorter lives. In 1700, insurance company put the average life expectancy of a newborn baby at only 14 years. The average life expectancy in the world today is 66 years, and in some countries it is much higher. In Japan or France, for example, the average is more than 80. This is mainly because of better diet, better hygiene, and better health care. Even in the olden days, though, it is interesting that if people survive to be an adult, they often live to be 60 or 70. Having children was much more dangerous in those days. 1 in every 9 women died in childbirth. Even so, women used to have many more children than they do today. In 1800, the average American family had 7 children. Today, the average is less than 2. Perhaps the reason for this was that so many babies died. Even 100 years ago, 20% of children died before they were 5. One reason that there were so many diseases was that people knew much less about hygiene. Even rich people didn't used to wash much. Many people thought that it was dangerous to take a bath, so they often bathed only once or twice a year. Instead, they used perfume to cover body odors. Poor people didn't even have toilets or clean water, and most had lice in their hair, bodies, clothes, and beds. There was no toothpaste in those days either, and only rich people used toothbrushes. Of course, toothache was very common, but there were no professional dentists until the middle of the 19th century. Before that, if you had toothache, you had to go to the barber's. He not only cut hair, but also used to take our teeth and perform other small operations. And even if you did see a professional doctor, many of their methods seem very strange today. In the 18th century, doctors treated almost any illness the same way, by removing blood from the patient, and they often used leeches to help them. Hospitals could also be dangerous places. At the end of the 19th century, more than half the patients in hospital died, usually from illnesses they didn't have when they went in. Look at the three people. Which person do you think used to have more money than she has now? Will probably retire soon. Would rather spend time with her family than go out to work. Has lived in Los Angeles for nearly 40 years. Has been married 4 times. Used to be a famous film star. Might go abroad next year. Has already earned over $1 million. Whether it's collecting coins, supporting your favorite football team, or just shopping, most people have some kind of interest. But what happens when that interest becomes the most important thing in your life? When does an interest become an obsession? Take Bob Martin, for example. In 1988, he went to see the musical Cats at the New London Theatre. He enjoyed it so much he went to see it again and again and again every week for 14 years. He traveled 52,000 miles and saw the show 795 times, spending a total of £20,000. I don't drink, smoke, or run a car, so I could just about afford it, says the 71-year-old. But sadly, Bob is now looking for a new hobby. The show closed last year after a 16-year run in London. For some, it's musicals that keep them coming back for more. For others, it's fast food. Peter Holden from Washington, D.C. eats an average of 2 McDonald's meals a day. He has eaten at more than 11,000 McDonald's. There are 13,500 of them in the whole of the USA, and says, I'm a collector of the McDonald's dining experience. He is 1.9 meters tall and weighs 90 kilograms. He says he doesn't put on weight partly because he is lucky and partly because he doesn't eat the fries. Most people collect something at some time in their life, whether it's dolls, trading cards, or even stamps, but few take their collections as far as Rodolfo Renato, who has the world's largest collection of books, posters, and even lifestyle models related to his heroes, the Beatles. He divides his collection between his apartment and the club he owns in Buenos Aires, Argentina, where he now organizes a regular Beatles event which attracts thousands of visitors from all over the world. But the 6,000 or so items of Rodolfo collection are nothing compared to 20,000 items belonging to Jason Joyner, all related to the Star Wars films. His collection includes an original Darth Vader costume, but such obsessions can have unfortunate results. John Waitrow became obsessed with collecting plastic figures of US presidents given as free gifts in packets of breakfast cereal. After 2 years, he had the whole set apart from Thomas Jefferson. Weintraub was so desperate to get the last one, he broke into a factory and opened every box he could find. He was seen by a guard, arrested, and sent to prison. It's okay though, he said, because at my first prison breakfast, I opened the cereal pocket and out came Jefferson. Having enough money is very important to me. I would like to be rich, famous, or powerful one day. Having children is more important than having a successful career. I like spending money more than saving it. I would rather spend a quiet evening at home than go out to a party. Money can buy happiness. Job satisfaction is more important than a big salary. Having good friends is more important than having a partner. I'd like to live or work abroad at some time in my life. Choose the 8 things which are most important for you. Put them in order from 1 to 8. Friends, love, family, money, good health, nice home, school, studies, career, clothes, car, travel, religion, sport, politics, marriage, other. The world's most popular. It is the world's number one brand and it is recognized by 94% of the world's population. For many years now, Coca-Cola has been a symbol of American culture. It is also the best-selling soft drink in the world. More than 60,000 products from the Coca-Cola company are drunk around the world every minute. 100 years ago, few men wore wristwatches, but the Rolex company, based in Switzerland since 1908, changed all that. They gave us the first wristwatches to show the date, the first driving watches, the first diving watches, the first sports watch, the first watch to show different time zones, and now Rolex watches with prices that range from $3,000 to $20,000 are worn as a status symbol all over the world. Although most people in consumer service guess that Nokia is a Japanese company, it's actually from Northern Europe. Originally a paper factory on the banks of the river Nokia in Finland, it became the world's leading mobile phone company in the late 1990s. Their first commercial mobile, the Mobira Talkman, which appeared in 1984, weighed 5 kilograms. The latest models are a bit lighter, however. Samsung, the name means 3 stars, began as a company in 1938. It originally produced noodles and dried fish. However, the company has come a long way since then. Mobile phones, digital cameras, flat-screen TVs, DVD players, you name it, are all manufactured by this electronics giant from South Korea. The maker of cars driven by the rich and famous, the Mercedes company has its base in Germany. Emil Jelinek, a wealthy banker who bought and loved cars, named the car Mercedes after his 9-year-old daughter, and the famous three-point Mercedes star was designed to symbolize the growth of the business into transport on land, sea, and air. The famous face, which is seen at more than 9,000 KFC restaurants worldwide, actually belonged to a real person, Colonel Harland Sanders. At different times he was a soldier, an insurance agent, a tire salesman, and worked in his parents' petrol station. When he saw that people were more interested in his homemade food than the petrol he was selling, he decided to open his first restaurant in Utah, USA in the early 1950s. Colonel Sanders is also remembered for organizing the biggest party in history. About 35,000 people attended his 79th birthday in 1970. Bedaira is a small island covered in tropical rainforest. It is completely uninhabited and can only be reached by helicopter. The average daytime temperature is 40 degrees Celsius. At night, the temperature is a little cooler. It usually rains heavily in the late afternoon and during the night. There are many streams, rivers, and small lakes. There are plenty of fish in the rivers, but there are also some dangerous crocodiles. There are plenty of coconut trees and other fruit. The island is home to thousands of different types of insects, plus spiders and snakes, which can be a problem at night. Choosing the right person. People come to you with all kinds of problems, not just medical ones, so of course you have to be sympathetic and a good listener. And of course you need to keep up with all the latest treatments. It's not enough to be natural talented. You need to be totally committed to being the best. Nothing else will do. If you are lazy, then you'll never reach the top. You need to be experienced in the game. It's your job to make sure that players are motivated, and to do that you have be honest with them. Obviously, you need to be imaginative, but it's not just that. You need to be very well organized with your time and have a lot of self discipline. Sometimes it's hard to think of ideas, but you have to keep thinking until something comes to you. Chinese culture fascinates me. I think learning the language is really the best way to find out about a culture, so I started studying Chinese 2 years ago. It's not an easy language at first, but I think I can make myself understood now. I'd like to spend some time there getting to know the people and learning more about the place. I left my job in January last year because I want to be a comedian. I've been trying to get work for about a year now. I can sing as well and play a bit of piano, but it's not easy to find work. Basically, I need to get experience in front of a live audience. I think I'm very good with children. When I was younger, I used to look after my two little brothers when my parents went out. Then, when I was at university, I earned extra money in the evenings by babysitting. So I've been looking after children since I was about 14. I'm 24 now, and I'd really like to travel before I settle down. I got interested in sailing when I was about 11. My father used to take me sailing most weekends, and that's how I learned the basics. And from then, I just carried on. So I've been sailing for about 10 years now. I just love it. It's more than a hobby to me now. Florence came to live in England almost 5 years ago. A year later, her children began school, and Florence started working as a teacher. First, as a teacher of French at a secondary school, she is now a full time yoga teacher. I started studying yoga about 10 years ago. I enjoyed teaching French, but I wanted a change. I started teaching yoga about a year and a half ago, and I must say I really enjoy it. Hopeful pop stars brave the rain. Hundreds of wannabe pop stars waited patiently in the rain outside London's Wembley Conference Centre yesterday. They were all hoping for the chance to star in a TV talent competition, which will see five youngsters chosen to create a new pop group. First in the queue was 20-year-old Catherine Hill from Case in Kent. I've been here since midnight, she said, as the doors opened. I've got 30 seconds to show what I can do. I know it's going to be worth it. I wanted to be a pop star ever since I was little, said 18-year-old Anton Yardley from Northampton. I've been taking singing and dancing lessons for over a year. This is my big chance. But Judge Davina McAndrew was less optimistic when we spoke to her at the end of the day. Occasionally, you see someone who you know is going to be a star, but to be honest, I haven't seen anything that really excites me today. Task: choose a manager for a pop group. Anita has been in show business all her life. As a child, she was the star in TV soap opera on Top of the Hill. At the age of 16, she began a musical career and she had several hit singles in the 1980s. Since then, she has been working mainly in the theater and on TV. She has been married to millionaire rock guitarist Bob Marshall for 10 years. Although she hasn't worked in the pop world for some years, she promises, my experience and my husband's money will keep spots at number one. Jack organized his first school concert at the age of 10 and managed his first group at the age of 18. In the 1990s, he was manager of the world famous boy brand Twizzle until they had serious financial problems. He came out of prison a year ago. Since then, he has been working as a car salesman. Now I've lost all my money, I've changed as a person, I have all the experience you could ask for. With me, spots could be even bigger than the Beatles, ABBA, and Elvis. My name is Ella Kwasniak. I heard about your organization from a friend and I'm looking for work this summer in any English-speaking country. I'm particularly interested in working as a sports coach or possibly restaurant, bar work. I was born in 1983 in Lublin, Poland, and speak English, German, and a little Russian. I have had a full driving license for 2 years. I'm very good at working with people and have been working as a tennis coach with young children for 3 years. I will be available for work from 10th of July. My contact details are. I look forward to hearing from you, Alek Wozniak. A Swiss man A Swiss man was amazed to see an extra £100,000 in his bank account one day. He started spending the money immediately, organizing expensive parties for his friends and buying things he'd never been able to afford before. When the bank noticed its mistake, the money actually belonged to a much richer man with the same name. He had already spent £85,000. A court ruled that the money wasn't his and that he would have to repay the full amount. As he arrived at the restaurant, where he planned to give his girlfriend a wonderful surprise, Eric Culbertson checked in his pocket and realized that he had left the $10,000 engagement ring he had just bought in a taxi. He had saved up for a year to buy the ring. The next day, Culbertson bought another ring for just $25 and asked his girlfriend to marry him. She said yes. A man in Germany had a horrible surprise when he checked his email one morning. Thomas Vogel, age 22, found he had bought items worth nearly £1 million from an internet auction company. Thomas Vogel, who makes his living by gardening and planting trees, says he had never heard of the company before and knew nothing about the £800,000 house, £100,000 car, and £25,000 small airplane he had just bought. The internet company insisted that he paid for the items, however, as the bids were made in his name. "I don't know what I'm going to do or how I'm going to pay," he said. "I can't plant that many trees." Okay, that's it for now. Thank you for watching this video.